By thinking, you manifest. This is yogic technology. The yogis talk about Siddha Sankalpa, which means a perfect thought. You have a perfect thought and it manifests itself into matter. Now, this is no longer philosophy. It is science. You can create through thinking. In fact, every creation takes place because of the thinking process. Now, in quantum physics, there is this concept called the observer. You observe, and through your observance, you create reality. The wave dynamics becomes particle dynamics. The waves are floating, and if you want the waves to coagulate into matter, to collapse into matter, you have to look into that wave. As soon as you look at the wave, it collapses into matter. I'll give you an example. You think about an apple. Now, the very act of thinking creates the image of the apple that is taking place at the subtle level. If you don't think about an apple, then you are not collapsing the waves into particles, into matter. So all the time, what you need to do is to think, and think it with focus, consciousness, samkalpa. And when you do that, then you collapse that thought into a material reality. The most interesting thing about this creation through the thought process is that it doesn't take too much time. You bring in time only when you collapse matter in another way. For instance, if you think that to make $1 million or to heal a disease or to stop bad dreams will take a long period of time. If you think that way, that will become the reality. But if you just think that I want to be functioning at the quantum level, at the speed of light, which is the speed of the electron. There are electrons going around the nucleus, and then you just ride on this electron and pick up the speed of the electron. The way you do that, imagine yourself or imagine a thought that you are thinking, and then put that thought inside an electron which is spinning at the speed of the light. then that thought will acquire the power of the electron, the speed of the electron. And when you do this, your psychology itself will change. Then you won't be like a robot-like thinker. Now your thinking is unintelligent, has no speed, has no focus, doesn't expect a result instantaneously. It is confused, it is goofy, it's unconscious. It has all these characteristics. The whole human race is a victim to this slow, goofy, unproductive, purposeless thinking, at least for most of the time, if not all the time. So you have to stop this process. And this is how you can evolve. So the moment you put this idea in your consciousness, the DNA will respond, the genes will respond, and they will create another reality. This is how you can heal your diseases, heal your money problems, heal your health problems, relationship problems, all kinds of problems. So these problems are basically thought patterns functioning at a very gross, unintelligent, unconscious, goofy, and low frequency level. The moment you become conscious, then you become the electron, moving at a great speed. Then you don't have to wait for a long time things to happen. Things must happen at the same time you are thinking. The word think and thing are very related. One is psychological, another is material. There is only one difference, the K versus the G. The G, it's very interesting. K and G, K, G. There is a secret behind this if you analyze it in the light of phonemic intelligence. So anyway, we have to get rid of our old ways of thinking. Humanity has only one hope, that is to change their thinking pattern. If they continue to think in this fashion, creating time, creating foolishness, it's unfortunate. We can vibrate with great intelligence, and there is no room for ignorance or foolishness. This is conscious living. We cannot afford to be unconscious even for 1 second. This is what will happen when we evolve. You even look at our body, it's a coagulation of our own thought process. And then once we are in this body, we don't think that the body is going to change. The body is going to remain the same because our DNA has been programmed that way. We have not taken any step to, collectively as a race, to speed up the process and to reprogram our DNA. How do you reprogram your DNA? Just simply by riding on the electron. Just by thinking about high speed and the electron, then you will pick up their speed, because the rule is you become as you think. Now, our thinking is irresponsible, unintelligence, goofy, unconscious, all that. So when you become identified, or when you identify yourself with the electron, it gives you tremendous amount of speed. It also gives you instantaneous manifestation. If you think that I'm going to work for an hour and get $10, you will. And if you think that in a fraction of a second, I want to create $1 billion, you will be able to do that. But then it is a discipline. You have to dedicate your entire life doing this. Because what's happening outside there are a number of people putting out slow time, unintelligent thoughts, ignorance, and then those vibrations will kill you. That's why a collective evolution is the best way, because if a number of people, like thousands of people at least, group together and meditate and put their attention on the electrons and then riding with the electrons at the speed of light, if there are, say, 5,000 people joining together and creating this vortex of energy, that energy is so strong that you will be able to change everything. There is research for that. In Washington, D.C., the TM people did a research with the police department. They brought a few thousand meditators to the Capitol. They were all meditating for a few months. What happened? The crime rate went down by 25%. That's very significant statistics. Just by keeping positive people meditating, you can influence the entire atmosphere. And the criminal tendencies will be neutralized. So our capital is our consciousness. Now we think our capital is the money in the bank. That's not a great capital. Because I know too many people personally who have money in the bank, but they don't know what to do with their money. But look at people who did not have any money, like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or Larry Ellison or Richard Branson, or the people who created the Google or Twitter or eBay. All these people did not have any capital. So the moment you say that I don't have the capital, I cannot do anything, you are old-fashioned. You are not in touch with what is happening around. I quoted a number of these people, a handful of them. They did not have capital. The only capital you have is the soul capital. The soul is very powerful. Not your mind. Your mind is sluggish. The mind is caught up in logic. The mind is caught up in slow time. The mind is goofy. The mind is ignorant. So you have to step out of the mind and ride on your soul, which like an electron moves very fast. And how do you do that? I gave you the meditation exercise. Just take a thought and assume the thought is like an electron and moving at a great speed. Say, for instance, you have a thought like $1 million thought, or perfect health thought, or a perfect relationship thought, or whatever thought you want to think. And that thought, put it inside an electron. And then you don't have to spend a lot of time, because the thought and the electron are one the same, and they are already started to move at the speed of light. So you have done enough already, even before you think, even within a fraction of a second, you have created that. It is as simple as I have explained to you. Very simple. All that you have to do is, when the mind comes in to process this idea, the mind will say, well, that is imagination, it's not going to happen, and I still don't have money, I still don't have relationship, still don't have any health, I still have this overweight, I am struggling with it. The mind is so negative. It lives in the past. That's the problem with the mind. It can never live in the electron moment. The electron has moved many times over before even finish a thought. But at least through the discipline of thinking and associating yourself with the electron orbiting the nucleus, then you can go and at a tremendous speed and manifest it. The more focus you have, the waves will be collapsed into matter. Then whatever you think, you will manifest instantaneously, or you have already manifested it even before you think. And if everybody begins to live life like that, they will completely purify the consciousness around them, and the environment will be clean. So what we need is a community of people sitting together and committing themselves to changing their thought patterns, to pick up the speed, to delete all past memories of slow growth. Then you will find that we are going to create the golden age. Then the body which is frozen time, which is frozen energy, will not sustain this high-speed thought at the speed of the electron. then it will at that time turn into light. Because you are heating up the body to pick up speed. And then when it picks up the highest speed, then this material body cannot remain. There is no support from the energy inside. The energy has moved and it is vibrating at a at a speed that the body either has to drop dead or it has to, if it want to live, it has to turn into subtle matter, which is light. Okay, this is very simple. So don't think that it is going to take a long time to manifest and long hours of meditation. These are all old-fashioned thinking. You still need them because that is what you respond to it. At least you have to do it because of our conditionings now. You have to meditate long hours because the body only knows and responds to that long hours of sleep, long hours of meditation. But simultaneously, you should also go and reprogram your DNA to this fast-moving time, to the bosonic time. When you put the boson in your consciousness, oh my God, it will pick up that kind of speed of the boson, and there is no waiting required. I remember that when I started teaching 25 years ago, 30 years ago, I had an affirmation that I used the students to say. That affirmation is, waiting is a waste of time. It's a great affirmation. You don't have to wait. Now there is science behind it. There is no need to wait to create. It can be created instantaneously. Because when you fall in line with this high-speed time, then your thought patterns will change. I'll give you a very concrete example. Somebody is starting a business and then that person has no capital, but somehow has managed to create that business. But then the capital is a problem, and if that person begins to move into a fast time and then put this thought of raising the capital inside the electron and then work on it, it doesn't have to be even a disciplined approach of staying there in a room and meditating, and if you want to do that, that's better than doing nothing, that's good. But simultaneously, as I have said, if you do that with an understanding that, now that I have put this idea into the electron, then it will manifest very quickly. What that means is, some venture capitalists will come and partner with you. Hey, you don't have money, but I have money, but you have the idea, so let's cooperate, let's collaborate, and let's do it. But if you don't put this idea of speeding up within the electron, you will never get this idea of the venture capitalists. Or someone, an angel investor, who has the money but doesn't have the idea, he will collaborate with you and do that. So this meditation will open up many doors. This is just only one door that I am talking about. There will be millions of doors that will open. So that is the way we live. The way we live is not just allow slow time to create reality over a period of months or years, but then you want to create everything in the now, and for which you have to put your thought inside this electron, and then just imagine that this thought, along with the riding on the electron, is going at a tremendous speed, and it will create this matter that you want to create. Then by focusing on that electron, then it will collapse, it will become matter. And this is the 21st century technology for manifesting, just by refining your thoughts, by making your thoughts to move at the speed of light. And that will give not only give you a better psychology, a better body, eventually the body turning into light, which is my primary teaching. God bless.